North American Nickel. I mean, he was really excited about this thing. Jeez. Rick Mark. Seems like a good guy. I mean,
I actually thought John Rosendahl was more excited about it.
Oh yeah, you spent more time talking to him. I was talking to Rick more, so yeah, he was working up.
Rick was more giving you the spiel, the PowerPoint. Here's what we got. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
But John was more excited about the history of, what had gone on there. Nickel's not well liked now, so.
Doesn't matter. It's if you can discover a large ore body of shit, frankly, that you can use as fertilizer, and it's worth billions, then the market will find it attractive. I mean, yeah, I would agree with you. Nickel to me as well. Nickel, I'm not really that, blown away by it, but nickel wasn't really like a hot, sexy commodity yet. It's made, a lot of money for people in like Sudbury and all that kind of stuff. So if they have something that potentially is a very large deposit, a nice thing about some of the, these magmatic source nickel deposits, unlike the saprolite, laterite, whatever stuff, the muds that, the weathered muds surface stuff, is a lot of the time they will come with credits, copper, if you get lucky, PGMs, and that makes the cost of the nickel, or whatever way you want to look at it, it offsets a lot of that. So I think that's some of the interest as well. It's not necessarily just straight the nickel, but that, you end up having other accessory minerals that go along with it.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's not really clear to me how the economics would look, because, yeah, I guess it's right at the.
Well, forget the economics. They don't have a deposit yet. I wouldn't look at that.
If they have a deposit, it's in Greenland. I mean, it's a small.
What? I mean, whatchamacallit? What's the one I was talking about? Voisey's Bay was not anywhere near that was easy. I mean, that is probably about as hard infrastructure-wise as Greenland, and that was very quickly bid up to multi-billion dollars by large, major mining companies. That's the thing about this, is that you're people looking for a entire district that has large size, that has multiple base metals and blah 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 elements, are the big hitters. They're the BHPs and Tex and Anglos and that kind of thing, and Rios, not the IM Golds and whatever Kinrosses. So that that is the attraction there, is if they truly have a large district scale, large whatever it is, massive, sort of system there, and can hit some of it with their better.
Fair enough. I mean, clearly, so they've attracted the sentient groups, so there's obviously, potential there.
Right. Yeah.
I guess I'd be more curious what makes more sense from an investment perspective, because VMS Ventures owns such a large stake in the company.
Well, we should look at that. I mean, I don't know if VMS already has good value from the project they're doing with Hud Bay, and then if this thing hits, it's like, wow. I mean, look, if this thing is what it is, if it turns out to be what some of the outward signs of it indicate the hints are at it, then 20 to 30% of it is still going to be just massive. So that's what that is. But then again, which one's gonna, if they just sniff a hit? I mean, he was saying that, look, and I'll have to look back a little bit on this as well, just to understand a little bit more how the market views this. But he was saying, look, if you're hitting 10 meters of 3% nickel, and you're in the right type of things, and we're talking about different, some pretty technical type of indicators as to that's a magnetic conduit based thing that has size and may turn into this ovoid, that is kind of what the Voisey's Bay was. That so many people are keyed into that that type of thing immediately attracts a large amount of attention, and people just buy into it because they're like, if this is it, this is like, multi-billion-dollar potential. So I think that's the thing, is if, even if they hit, let's say, at 10 meters of two amount, I have to look a little bit at this to kind of understand that idea a little bit better, but if that they hit, even something that isn't the main deposit, but just closer to, hey, we've got this, and I guess I have a couple of holes that have been historically drilled there that do indicate that they could, with better targeting, come up with those, those kind of results, and the setting that they've already done some exploration in. So
right.
I don't know.
Well, I guess VMS Ventures supposedly has like $10 million or so, plus 40%-ish of, maybe not anymore. So it was just a Sentient Group, but
yeah, they said about 20-something. I thought 20% maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what's the lower. I think VMS is clearly probably the lower risk play, but it doesn't really give you leverage. Nickel, I don't know. I have to look into.
Well, I think what it does is that if North American, I mean, look, how much value is VMS having for North American nickel? Zero. So if nothing happens there, then I don't think it makes VMS. If nothing happens with North American nickel, then it's clearly got the downside, right? So there's a different risk profile. So I don't know if maybe someone owns both or one or the other. I'm not saying I'm going to go out, run out, and buy any of these today, but I think it's worthwhile to do some more studying on it just from what we heard from them and try to understand the timing of the drilling and, some of these other, factors that go into it. But, I don't know.
Interesting because it's kind of unknown. To us.
Yeah, I mean, that's another part of it. I mean, that's the, this thing about, hey, nickel in Greenland. I was immediately like, what? Let me look. I mean, that's kind of just sounds, kind of different enough that I knew not a lot of people are going to know about that. So, and it does, I think these guys are somewhat connected, so it's not like the news is going to go unnoticed. I mean, the Sentient Group and some of the other stuff they have, obviously there's they have some market exposure. It's just that this thing is pretty new and hasn't really, been out there long enough, and it's, it's a story that will, I think, be told by the results that they get. I don't know if there's too much to do to promote this darn thing. You go and you put in some drill holes, and if they come up with some intersects, I mean, if they make a discovery. Look, the way the discovery looks, and the nice thing about these type of things, they're kind of similar to VMS type systems. You basically have these signatures and you drill them. I don't know if maybe when you see if there's some kind of surface thing, or as you drill down, you intercept something that looks interesting. But I think you pretty much have to drill all of them, and you don't know. You hit it and boom, yeah, you might have a discovery, and you don't know it until you actually get the core out of the ground. Then you'll see. They'll know it. They'll know it when the core comes out of the ground. I mean, massive sulfides, and you'll be able to tell the nickel in there will be, maybe you won't be able to tell fully, but enough of it that, it'll be quite obvious to people doing it. If you get 100 meters of really high grade, more than a couple percent, let's say 2-3%, I mean, that will be a deposit. That will be a large Voisey's Bay type deposit right there. And if you look at the Voisey's Bay footprint, it's a pretty darn small footprint. It has a vertical component. You already talked about vertical components. It's not necessarily just like VMS systems tend to be flat and go for really long distances. So even if you don't hit it exactly, you get it, and then you just step out in each direction and you find out how big it is. And you can kind of find the center of it because you get more into like hydrothermal stuff with tourmaline and some other things, and barytes or whatever. All these things you can kind of help figure out, where you are in the system. And of course the laminations and things like that help as well. But with these other things, I don't think there's, these massive sulfide magmatic type things don't quite give that much of they're not as easy to find, but when you hit one, the upside, VMS systems, you don't know how big, I guess maybe that's the distinction, is you can hit one and it could look, wow, this is great, but you don't know how far it's going to go in any direction. But when you hit one of these, magmatic, whatever, blah, 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 if you hit long enough and big enough and strong enough, just the shape of them is going to be pretty somewhat standard, this ovoid type thing I just mentioned. So that's why Voisey's Bay, everyone kind of knew pretty quickly. It didn't take years, to figure that one out. So that's the beauty of it as well. is it won't be like, okay, you hit a couple and then it'll be like 2 or 3 years of sitting like ATAC, like, we're talking about the thing in Yukon. Well, we know it's a call-in style and blah, 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 but, that could be 1 million ounces or 10 million or 50 million. And it's going to take you quite a bit of time to figure that out. I don't think that's the case here at all. Okay, let's go past that in VMS as well, because that's really, VMS, we talk about that, but, basically they have a project, this Hudbay thing, that reproduction looks like the value is easily supported by that project, and I don't know if they have more funding, I forget what it was, but it seems like they're funded on that, so it's like this, and North American Nickel would be a kicker because they own 20%. So that'd be the real reason we'd have done it.
30% carry to production. So Hudbay is the operator.
Right. So, and they have no more commitment. So I think that's an attractive story from that. But given where the market is right now, there's a lot of attractive things. So I don't know if I'd own VMS just for that, but if it was for this kicker as well, it's something that we definitely should look closer at. Okay.